Hey there. We only have one person to thank today. That is SquidDaddy_94. That is because we have worked through the names that we have on our list to thank. If you believe that you should have been thanked, check out the Patreon pinned post for the form where you can put in the name. Otherwise, you can be thanked by going to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv and pledging at the $10 tier. You'll also get Adaptation Decay, our show about video game adaptations to other media, and also the new show that we have coming up, Quackstack, featuring myself, Gary, and our new producer, Gwen. Yeah. So thanks and enjoy the show.
My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Cole Ross.
And you're listening to Watch Out for Fireballs. It is a Games Club podcast.
And this week we are talking about Hades, which is an action roguelike developed and published by Supergiant Games for the PC and contemporary systems in 2020.
Yeah, this episode was executive produced by Cody, and I think it marks the only time we've ever done every game by a developer.
Only time? I would need to go back, maybe. I would say, yeah. If it's happened another time, I can't name it specifically right now, so it's effectively true.
There are a couple of cluse, calls. Like the Gungeon dodge roll games made, they made Exit the Gungeon eventually. Yacht Club. They have those Shovel Knight expansions we haven't done, and now they've got a couple other spin-offs.
I wouldn't include developers who only have one game in that, though.
Yeah, in that case, then it gets a little tricky.
Yes.
But in terms of the longest running developer, which we've covered their whole career.
Yeah. And this is, Supergiant, big indie game developer, kind of came in that XBLA, the Summer of Live wave, and has continued making pretty good games, I would say.
Yeah. This for me is a real good one from them. It's I don't know if it's necessarily my favorite. And I've got some bones to pick with it, but I generally like it.
To get the defenses out of the way, I also I like it, but also it's a roguelike, and I am on my back foot with this. Also, we'll talk about it when we get to the story stuff, but even mechanically, this is such a vast game, and so much of it is random, when you're going to see it, or dependent on various conditions and stuff. Man, there are so many things that we're going to miss.
We cleared that with Cody as well.
Yes.
When Cody sponsored the episode, we're like, hey, Cody, we generally do about 20 hours a game because we play one of these once a week and we do a bunch of other shows. Yes. We're not going to be completionist on Hades. And that's one of my big bones to pick with this, is I think that the meta progression and getting the full story is
onerous,
really, really misguidedly slow.
Yeah.
Of this, and we're not going to be able to talk about it all. So if you are like, oh man, I can't believe they didn't talk about when you max out the romance between Zag and Meg, sorry.
Yeah.
There's just a lot to cover here. We're going to do our best. But our, this isn't Bonfireside Chat. Our goal is not to be completionist.
Yes.
This is a premium episode as well, which means that this first part is going to be the kind of how the game works in generalities. And then we're going to get into the specifics of the stages, the weapons, gods, and the story in the second half.
Yes. Yeah. And that is there for patrons. And you also, when you do that, you get access to all the previous premium episodes as well. We usually save that for the admin stuff. But I think it's important to say here every once in a while too. So you're not just getting this one.
FYI.
Yeah.
So in this game, you play as Zagreus, the son of Hades, and you are attempting to break free of the underworld and your father's cruelty and abusive kind of nature.
Yes. Yeah. Is, just general oppressive nature, neglect, all these kind of things. Zagreus wants out of there. And this is a run-based roguelike because Zagreus is going to fail many, many times in this process as you hack and slash through these different combat chambers through the various realms of the underworld. There are 4 realms in this. And each of these is lightly randomized on every attempt. So it is the kind of randomization where there are a handful of room structures that they pull from, and then enemy layouts and challenges and stuff like that can be pulled into them.
Yes. And that hack and slash bit is important.
Yes.
These are combat arenas.
Yes.
There is one type of challenge in this game. I like this game, and I played it before we covered it.
Yeah.
That's where I beat it, and I didn't get the true ending because fuck that shit. What that requires, how much grinding for nectar that requires.
10 times. 10.
Well, dude, you don't know
Not
the half
even
of it.
just that? Yeah.
10 times, and you have to build up your affinity with every single god up to a certain level, which requires giving them juices boxes. Yeah.
Giving them
you got to give enough Capri Suns to
nectar and ambrosia. Yeah.
Fuck that. That stuff makes me mad. But I do think this game is one of my reasons that stops this from being an all-timer roguelike for me, is that I think it is really one note.
Yeah.
The combat is fast and fun. You have fun abilities. You have a dodge roll that's very satisfying, like a little dash thing. And there's a variety in your side of the equation. You will get different moves and different powers and stuff. The mix-ups and such that you fight, and very specifically the bosses, there is a real dearth of variety there. You will fight the same room hundreds of times. You will fight the same boss dozens and dozens and dozens of times.
Yeah.
Sometimes with minor variations, but oftentimes not.
So imagine yourself. So I think that this putative person requires some traits from both of us, but that neither of us fully satisfies. So imagine yourself as somebody who is predisposed to liking a roguelike format.
Are you suggesting we make a kid?
No. I'm
using our DNA, kind of like a twins,
just mix it up. Just mix it up.
Yeah, Junior. Do you want a Junior?
No, I don't want a Junior.
Hey, buddy, I've been noticing across the room. We like your vibe. Do you want a Junior?
Just slide you a piece of paper. Junior, check 1.
Yes. Yeah, just the cover of Junior and just
No. Okay, but imagine a person who has the gene in them to be predisposed to like the roguelike structure, right? Which you have, right? Also the person who is inexperienced with them. Right. Yes. So just basically, not only is Hades my first roguelike, but also I'm just I have not played anything like this before, but I can kind of dig it. I like it. I don't have that gene, and I'm new to these, relatively inexperienced compared to say you, right? Does that predictability and does that kind of lack of dynamism on the
is that a plus?
Is that a plus for that kind of person?
It makes sense, because one of my big mysteries the last couple of years was wondering why this game was such a huge hit.
Yeah,
while simultaneously liking it. This ended up being a lot of people's game of the year, and also just dig it slightly meta has been a hot topic on the Slack basically since it came out.
Yep.
So I had a lot of conversations with people, and one of the prevailing theories is this was a lot of people's first roguelike. It's very approachable. The production values are super giant good. The characters are well acted and likable. Charismatically presented. This was a lot of people's first exposure to that structure. So maybe that is a plus to them. To me, I can't fight. I can't know how to fight that Hydra. I just fought that goddamn Hydra so many times.
The Hydra.
Yeah, I can't hear no more about no hydras.
Yeah, the variations that they bring in are not enough, and I was very encouraged when they brought in the other Furies, right?
Yes.
Even though those became pretty rote as well, it was like, all right, so for the first few runs, you go up against the same boss, so you can get used to it and get past it, and after you've demonstrated mastery, then it can start bringing in variation. And turns out, no, that's only true for the first one.
It's real weird. And then the second one, there are minor variations. Third one, no variations. Fourth one, no variations.
Yeah.
It's a weird move. And this trickles down just from bosses. This is also rooms and enemies as well. So just imagine, this very satisfying snappy combat against the same things over and over and over. I'm going to point out the things in this that I think make it, because I am somebody who knows roguelikes and who is very sympathetic to them. Yes. The things that stop it from being in my top 10 roguelikes. And that's a big one of them.
Yeah.
You have so you have these common abilities. You have a different weapon before each run. Each weapon has a couple different moves. It has an attack, a charge attack, and a special that it can do.
Yeah. And each of these weapons is both satisfyingly different from the other. And also, you're going to recognize a lot of these if you have played previous Supergiant games, right?
Yes.
The bow.
A pithy way to describe this is kind of perfected combat bastion.
Yeah, that's a way to put it. I saw this as as Deathloop is to Arcane's previous games, this is to Supergiant's previous games, where they just took a bunch of ideas from each of them and rolled it in, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You also have a thing called a cast, which is Zagreus does this. You always have it. You throw out these red gems that will do damage to an enemy and will stay embedded in them for a time, either until they die or until a time limit comes out. There are ways you can alter this. This can be related, or it can be altered by different boons and power-ups and stuff you get. The nature of this is a minor spoiler. You may be like, Zagreus, I know about the Greek gods. Who the fuck is Zagreus? We'll get into that when we start talking about the story.
Yes.
Stuff.
Yeah. You mentioned these boons. These are favors from the gods. They will lend you their powers. You choose from them. Every time you find one of their little icons, these are common rewards for clearing rooms. You will get a little conversation with the god, and then you'll make a choice. 3 of their boons are going to be presented to you with a small description, and the power level that it starts at and its rarity, both of which kind of equate to about the same thing. The differences between those is pretty subtle. You want both of them to be up, and these will modify any of your attacks, special, dash, your cast, or give you completely new abilities. Abilities on hit, things like that. Kind of all themed after
passive
these gods.
Upgrades.
Yes, passive
things
upgrades,
like
that.
Yeah. The rarity and levels are a little bit. Rarity will just change the base idea of what something does. Levels are just the efficacy.
Gotcha.
And you level them up yourself, usually through the pomegranate of power, the item that you'll get. So you do want higher rarities, and you eventually get abilities to manipulate these to get those higher. You really want them. All of the game breaking part of this, like a roguelike, part of the appeal of a run based roguelike is spinning a slot machine. And getting a really broken combo. The big broken combos you can get tend to be higher rarity boons. And until you can kind of manipulate that, you're not likely to see them, and you're really not likely to see them in general. They're rarer in this game than, say, in Isaac. Which is my baseline comparison for top-down roguelikes. You also eventually get call abilities, which allow you to channel the power of these gods directly. You fill up the separate little god meter, like a rage meter or whatever in another video game. And they will send down and either they'll come down and help you, or they'll give you a special effect that's very powerful, but very short-lived.
Yeah. It's like a transformation or a summon kind of thing. Yeah. And I mean, we've mentioned it several times, but we can't underline how snappy all of this is and how satisfying it is. If you have a real good combination of weapon and boons going on, you can clear through rooms pretty quickly. You end up being very effective in this. Yeah.
And it's fun. It's undeniably fun. It's the reason it's a good game. It feels good. The core of this is really good. It's interesting to do this right next to Luca. because Luca is another game where I have a lot of problems with the structure and story of it, but the actual core of moving around and playing is really fun.
Yeah.
They're kind of similar in some ways.
All these unintentional pairs that we end up having. It's great. So let's talk about the structure of a given run. What you are doing. So each of these realms is made up of a bunch of different chambers, different numbers of chambers for the given realms, and you've got to get through them. Most of the chambers are combat encounters. You do have ones, variants, including ones you can like specifically build in to give you little reprieves and stuff like that. And there are like bonus chambers as well, chambers that have special challenges and things that are all down to combat.
Yeah. There tend to be 15 of them for the first 3 realms. So you're going through 15 rooms before the boss. When you clear a room, you get the reward. The reward is marked by the symbol that was on the door you pass through to get to the room. So after every room, you usually get a choice of either 2 or 3 rooms based on what kind of reward you want to get in the next room.
So, your performance is rewarded. You will see, a room that will be like a health up. Well, if I'm doing pretty good on health right now, or if I am sitting pretty good with my maximum health as it goes, I can go for something else. I need gold to spend at the shop, to get these upgrades that I want to get. Or, I can see that this next chamber has a boon from Aphrodite, and I'm running an Aphrodite build at this point, so I definitely want to go there. Along with picking your boons from the from the different gods. This gets down to one of Supergiant's tricks, which is making very mechanically satisfying choices available to you, like giving you 2-3 options, and any of them could be really good.
It's also a mark of really good roguelikes. Yes. Right. Flashback to when we covered Monster Train. Like that really simple choice every ring of which side to go to, and you want both of them. Every single time you want both of them. I think that's a really good game design thing.
Yeah.
So these are the type of rooms you have. Boon rooms, which we mentioned, getting a boon. Well, you'll actually see the symbol of the god. So you go through, you do the combat, and you get the boon at the end. Something I wish was a lot more common is Daedalus's hammer. Yeah. This is a thing, you can only get 2 of these per run. They let you upgrade your weapon, and they upgrade it in hugely transmorphative ways.
Yes, this will completely alter your run, and if you come to depend on one and you don't get it, then it's a real bummer.
Yeah, this is where a lot of the fun and variety comes, and but less frequently than I want it to. Like you will find these, and you almost always want to prioritize them there. But one of the things I really wish that was in this game was the ability to always make sure you got this as your first item.
Yeah.
Because it's you shape your run around it, and they're just fun to experiment with. There are a lot of them.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, more than they offer you, but just like any other boon, you have a choice of 3. And I think every weapon has like 6 possible, 5 or 6.
Yeah. So, they're quite a few.
You're just not going to see all of them given to you. Another benefit you can get is the Palm of Power, pomegranate. This will let you upgrade your boons, which is nice. You can select from a handful of your boons, again 3, to upgrade their power. You want to go after these if you are really comfortable with your power set. That you have something that is definitely going to be a part of your build. So you just want to start powering it up primarily so you can be more effective against the bosses. Because that is where damage output becomes very specific, much more useful than like the incidental kind of passive abilities that certain attacks and abilities can give that only really work on rank and file enemies.
Yeah. This is the reason why the Greek god family is so dysfunctional, is because pomegranates are such a pain to eat. You have to do like a little tiny puzzle box every time you want to eat a snack. Yeah, you have to commit surgery on an order.
Commit surgery. Same reason I don't eat lobster.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not going to do a soft shell crab or a hard shell crab. There are shops in this. Charon, the dark ferryman.
Yeah, I'm really happy that you also say Charon or Charon.
I've said it always.
Yeah. I also I say Charon. I only recently heard of Charon. I was on stream. I was streaming something where Charon came up. Like, what the fuck is Charon? You asshole.
Yeah. Complete piece of shit. Charon. I said it as Charon my whole life. As a kid, reading about Greek myths because they were cool and had swords and magic in them.
Of course.
So it's hard to not do that.
Yeah.
He sells things. So you trade him obol, which is gold in this. Obol you get from rooms sometimes. You can bust up pots. To get that every once in a while, and then you get some from encounters, and you can buy things.
I like how you can pay the contractors to just put a little bit more gold in the pots.
It's very stingy at first.
Yep.
They make you like this game is all those upgrades. It is an entirely different and more friendly and fun game once you have them.
Yeah.
There's like a little element of really wishing those things. There are too many things to work towards in this game. And the game improves so much and would probably be better with some of them unlocked from the start.
Yeah. If they
that being a big one.
Pushed you a little bit further up that curve because very early on, it's kind of like flying Spirit Air.
It's very Spirit Air. You're getting nickel and dimed for everything in this. It's an incredible nickel and diming experience.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to talk about Charon as a character later, but that's one of the huge draws of this is that each of these, there's no such thing as a minor character in here,
Yes.
Just because Zagreus interacts with all of them and gets on well. Like Zagreus has a real kind of winning personality. The conversations that he has with Charon, and all that he gets in return is just a general ominous skeleton noise is really good.
Skeleton dot wave. Yeah, it's pretty funny there. Yeah. I know how he fits into the story because I spoiled it for myself. I spent all this time between when this came out and now, like, not reading spoilers, thinking like, oh yeah, someday I'll go back and actually to like completionist this. And then in prepping for the episode, read what it requires. Like my blood turned to ice. So I just ended up spoiling it for myself.
Yeah, you can fight Charon actually too. I didn't know that.
They patched that in. If you fight him, you get a membership card, which gives you a discount on his shops in the future. Yeah, but it is apparently an incredibly hard fight.
Yeah, I don't want to fuck with them.
Yeah, I don't want a challenge. I'll just lose all my health and then just die almost immediately. There are mini boss rooms. There are also where you just fight a mini boss for each realm, for each zone. There are also rooms where there are 2 boons of the gods, and you choose one of them, and the other god sends waves of enemies with a modifier after you, because they're jealous.
Yeah,
they're jealous, petty assholes. And you eventually will get 2 boons for this. Yeah. So this is good. Generally, like, that's a good value. They're difficult, especially depending on who they are. Fuck that Poseidon one. If he's mad at you.
Yeah.
There are also time challenges where Hades will throw wave upon wave of enemy at you and you just have to survive.
Yeah. Like we said, not enough variety there, but there is some. And these ultimately end up being just like choices that you end up making, because you'll know when one of these is coming down the pike. You can see based on the symbol. There's no key for the symbol, so your first few runs are going to be figuring out what each of them is. It's not always entirely intuitive, but I mean, by run number 4, I felt like I had my feet on the ground pretty well.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. You can run into a legendary figure from Greek mythology who has died in each of these realms. So the first one has Sisyphus, second one has Eurydice, and the third one has Patroclus. And these will give you resource boosts to help you out. They're really meaningful. Because this has this dating sim DNA, which we'll talk about. Each of them also has like love levels that you have to increase. You have to increase their heart meter, Harvest Moon style. For them and play into the meta story.
Yeah, you're just throwing nectar out left and right, building up trust. Occasionally, if you've met certain conditions and if it's the right kind of room, the right spot in a given run, you might find chaos gates. These will take you to Chaos's realm, and they will give you these temporary setbacks that when they lift turn into just straight good bonuses.
Yeah.
Very powerful buffs.
I really like these.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, because you're essentially making this is where the choice DNA and choice being one of the core building blocks of video games, right? Like making interesting choices to me is one of the things I go to video games for. Picking out the thing that's going to impact me the least.
Yeah.
I very rarely use my cast when I'm playing Hades. So anything that's like, hey, you can't recover your cast. I'm like, oh, twist my arm. And I get 30% more gold for the rest of the run.
Okay.
Oh no.
Cool.
Yeah, like I'll take it.
Yeah. Also looking to see if this is going to carry into a boss fight, knowing roughly where you're at in a given realm.
Yes.
If there is not a particular choice that is, going to be like an easy one to sync, right?
Yeah. There's a secret feature to these as well, in that they re-roll your options. So you finish a room and you have the option between like a palm of power and an oval room, but there's a chaos gate. If you go into the chaos gate, you'll get new options.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Huh.
Yeah. So it allows you to take, I don't know if that's it just happens to be treated as a different room in the game code, or if that's an intended effect, but that was nice every once in a while.
I could see that. I mean, there's a cost associated with it. You take damage when you go into it, just like the curse doors in Isaac. No,
hey, great use of the lingo, man.
And you can't get out of there without taking one of these curses from old chaos. Yeah,
old chaos. After you've beaten the game once, so you beat the boss, you unlock the ability to enter packs of punishment to gain heat. This is that super giant trick. You get more resources for playing by taking a debuff.
Yes.
So you're going to get extra, resources at the end of the run, which you're going to use to progress the meta progression. But in exchange, everything is more expensive, or more enemies are armored, or the mini bosses have additional moves, things like that.
Yeah. And you can select them based on what you need at the moment, right? So like, man, I really need some darkness because there are some buffs on the mirror, the mirror of night that I want to get. So I will look for something that will reward me with darkness, and then try, see how it goes, right?
Yes. This is fine. I think this game is hard.
Yes.
Personally. And I think even on the first time I played it a couple of years ago, when I got much further in it and beat it several times, I would use heat, but I wasn't piling on the heat.
No.
I think it's hard and eventually becomes a little tedious to clear this game, especially the last realm, which I think is pretty crappy. So I was not a huge fan of this, as opposed to like Bastion or Transistor, where I use this a lot.
Yeah.
I really like this in those games. In this one, and I understand this isn't an objective complaint. There are people who really love these, and people who feel like this game is a game where you really run away with the game and break it often. That was not my experience in either of my times with this.
This is, I think that difficulty, is there, and it sits weird with a lack of variety. And I think that the thing that reconciles those two is the, again, no, I don't know if this is an objective complaint. Runs are way too long in this. I want to pull the slot machine a little bit more often. For me, I never like straight up ran a timer, but a run's got to be like 30, 40 minutes to complete it. Yeah.
At least for me, like, and that might be a cautious play style thing, but that's just how I play games. Like I've heard people, I get on the Slack anecdotally are like, I get through runs in like 20 minutes. Yeah. Not my experience.
No. I could do 2.5, 3 runs per sitting.
Yeah. So that it adds up to some tuning that like was not to my taste.
Yes. Yeah. If you pile on enough heat, you do get to a special kind of chamber. You go to Erebus through these infernal gates, where you attempt a perfect clear of this room under a particular set of conditions to get a huge reward on the back of it.
Yeah. Again, it feels a little rich get richer to me, but whatever. Runs end when you die, even though you do get extra lives in the form of Death Defiance tokens. your little guy goes, not yet. And then you don't, you don't die just yet. You come back with not full health. Similar to Sekiro, I do not think it would have been broken if you came back with more health.
Yeah. You can improve, like you can pick an ability on the Mirror of Night that will improve what you come back with. And there are boons that will affect this. There's a trinket that gives you an extra one that I believe is full. But yeah, this is a welcome system. I like anything that can prolong a run, but I agree. I don't think you would hurt too much if you came back at full, just because if you're dying to something, it's probably doing a lot of damage anyway.
Yeah. This is all kind of over this whole thing there is something I really like about this game. I'm sure you have this a little bit later, but it's worth talking about here. God mode.
Yes.
In this.
Yeah.
There is a difficulty option in the menu that is God mode, and no condescension. And it just says use this if you're struggling or just if you want. Who cares?
Yes.
And it's really subtle. It just gives you damage resistance for every death. It tops out at a certain point.
So it goes from, I believe it starts out at 20% damage resistance, and it goes up by 2% every time you die, up to a maximum of 80.
Yeah. So like eventually you could theoretically, if you wanted an easy mode of this, just grind out deaths.
Yeah.
And get to that. But that feeling of getting a little bit easier as opposed to being, hey, you just lost, fuck off. Hey, you just lost. It'll be a little bit easier this time. I think is a really good move for a game where a drive for a lot of people is going to be these dating sim story elements.
It's wise. Yeah.
I think it's wise and could even be more generous without being broken. It's optional.
No.
Like if that had been 5%, and just moved up a little quicker, I don't think it would have been too much.
Yeah.
As is, I appreciate what it is. I appreciate that's there. And I appreciate that's non-condescending.
It's one of the best designed like story modes I think I've seen in a game, where it doesn't just eliminate systems, take it off of you, because I think the struggle is part of this. Zagreus making
absolutely.
his attempts. Like it's
it's not a story mode at all. Like it's for many of the first deaths, it's going to feel almost exactly as hard.
Basically the same.
You're not going to feel 2% damage resistant.
But eventually it's going to turn into that. And, at 2%, like that feels like it's going up at a gradual rate, probably about the same rate that my patience would be eroding.
Yeah. It emulates avatar strength.
Yeah.
It's almost like your character's leveling up.
Yes.
As you do this. It's good. Yeah.
Agreed.
I like it quite a bit. So after you die, you lose your boons, your upgrades, and your obol, so your money. Some things you do get to keep, though. Some resources that you're going to use to empower the metagame.
Yeah. So there is darkness, just these little purple triangle things that you grab. These are spent in your bedroom. Your mother, Nyx, the goddess of night, has given you this gift here. You look in and you can spend this. This is kind of like experience points, and you improve these different kind of skills. And eventually these can be swapped out for slightly different versions. So you pick like the day side or the night side. So this is where you like early on get, say, an extra death defiance token. This is where you increase your backstab damage. This is where
extra dodge roll.
Yeah, extra dodge roll. Turn into, do extra damage when somebody has the blood gem inside of them from a cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're fairly minor. There are major ones, and there are a lot of very minor and esoteric ones.
Yes.
I also want to say a special Razzie goes out to the UI interface of this. It is similar to like in Dark Souls 1, the kind of apocryphal, like everyone went to the graveyard. So maybe Dark Souls could have signaled that you don't go to the graveyard.
Yeah.
And they did through having hard skeletons here, but you know what I mean?
Right.
The people not knowing you could switch the mirror.
Yep.
Incredibly common. It's you eventually will get in dialogue. She'll be like, I've upgraded your mirror, but you have to find the little widget to flip it around. And I have talked to so many people in person and read so many accounts of people who like didn't realize that until either I mentioned it or, 20, 30 runs after they could have.
It shouldn't be at the left. It should be at the right, like a little icon where you spin it, where you're looking at the costs and stuff anyway.
And it should, when it upgrades, it should glow.
Yes.
Like when it becomes, this is a huge UI failure in a game that generally has good UI. Just kind of amazing thing that everyone misses.
Something, this isn't a criticism. I just wish I wish I knew. I wish they had chosen a different term. Backstab damage is very valuable in this. Mm-hmm. I see backstab and I think stealthy playthrough, like going around and specifically, aiming for backs. No, they're sometimes just going to be in the fracas. Enemies are not going to be facing you. Like that is not about stealth. That is just about like bonus damage, probably 30% of the time. You want it. It is worth spending. Yeah.
You have a certain number of these that are available to upgrade until you use keys that you can do there. And you can, so you spend keys to unlock new ones, and you can spend keys to reallocate your points. Keys are also used to unlock weapons. The key economy is very tight.
Yes.
For the beginning of this game. And I personally wanted more weapons more than I wanted more ways to spend money doing this. So it was a thing where keys, again, this just requires a lot of runs to get through.
Yeah. But you have 8 different weapons. We'll talk about those in the body of the episode because that's part of your run. It alters the way it goes in. But those can be upgraded by getting Titan's Blood. 6 of them. Yes.
Yeah.
But you get Titan's Blood, which can be used to like give them extra special upgrades, which will specialize them further. And all of those have little lore explanations behind
fun
them.
Story. Like you have a spear, and then you can get a legendary version of a spear. They each have a hidden aspect as well, which is a legendary weapon from another culture. Yeah, I think that's real cute. The way you get them is bullshit, but I think it's real cute.
You can get Excalibur. Yeah,
you can get Excalibur. That's neat. The weapons will randomly get a little darkness. They'll glow, and you'll get bonus darkness, which is the currency you spend at the mirror when you use them. This incentivizes you to switch around.
Yeah.
Things.
You're going to take my Aegis Shield from my cold dead hands.
I found this to be the weapons in this. One thing that is that a roguelike can do really well that I think this does not super well is make everything viable. In this situation. Like if you want me to switch around, you got to make everything pretty good. This is not the case in this game.
Right.
So I would very rarely chase this bonus because using the shield or the bow and arrow, or in a pinch, the spear.
Yeah.
Like I'd be good. Everything else sucked. It's basically pretty trash.
Get those gloves out of here. And usual caveats apply. Somebody will say, "Oh, if you have this, this, and this, it's just a matter of what feels natural in our hands." The
shitty machine gun. I ended up getting a thing where it didn't need to be reloaded. Like as a dataless hammer, and it was awesome. Yeah, it worked really, really well. And then I got a bunch of boons that stacked damage over time, and ended up being very powerful. You can't plan for that. In your room before you leave. You don't know what you're going to run into. So a lot of times I would just get the machine gun with no meaningful upgrades for it and just struggle and then die and then go back and pick a weapon I liked.
Yeah. And just it's too big of a gamble. That could be, it's definitely me playing too conservatively, but it's one of the few things I can control in this. And I know, the ways that the run can get awesome with the particular weapon that I take. Right.
Yeah. There are gems that you pick up as a currency out on your runs. These are given to the House of Hades contractors to unlock things. These will add features to the dungeon. So things like fishing. Yes, there's a fishing mini game, little fountains to reprise, things like that. Put more gold in the pots and then
sprinkle it around. Easter bunny this baby.
Easter bunny the pots, and then a truly staggering number of cosmetic upgrades to the house.
Go with God. More power to you.
Yeah, if that's your thing. I was never drowning in stuff to spend.
That also ends up becoming, if you're doing the dating sim element of this, each character, if you want to really get in with them, there's like a little miniature mission you can do with them. Some of them are a certain number of upgrades to particular chambers in the House of Hades. So that ends up going into that somewhat mechanically. I wasn't pursuing the dating sim element of this other than to get the trinkets and stuff. So,
prepare to get yelled at. It's good. This is going to be like the Stardew Valley thing where like I played it for like, this is fun to farm for a little while. And then you made a Nightmare Slave Factory. But neither of us tried to date everybody in the town, and then just like tons of people, like that's the game. you romance everybody. That's the game. Like you learn their stories.
That's also the game.
Yeah, but I mean that's for this. It's going to be that thing too. Like there are people for whom the appeal of this, and I'm not taking that away from them. Like this is a game where like Zagreus is bi. You have you have a hetero, a bisexual, and then also, or an opposite sex partner, a same sex partner, and somebody who ends up being coded as almost kind of asexual. Don't take my word. Like that's a theory. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm not stepping on my lane. But I understand that appeal. Like you don't get that a lot in games. I don't want to take that away from anybody. It's just not why I play these games. I like these characters. Okay. Like if they're charismatically presented, we're going to talk about aesthetics. Yeah. I'm not digging to get into their stories. Not least of which because I know them. Yeah. It's Greek mythology. They're some of the oldest stories that exist.
Right.
When mommy comes back, it's like, well, yeah, of course she does.
Yeah.
If she didn't, we wouldn't have winters. It's
yeah. And like, so that cuts both ways too, right? So like, it not only is like, okay, I know these stories, it rewards that knowledge by making fun little jokes about it and, working in like, okay, how do we make this so everybody isn't just fucking their cousin?
Yes.
There are like changes and like they work in like, oh, that's just a lie we tell to freak out the squares.
Even though there is a good amount of cousin fucking going on.
A fair amount, yeah.
If not in the letter of the law, certainly in the spirit.
If you're, here's the thing: if you're banging Thanatos, that is totally a Pornhub stepbrother tag thing.
100%. And if you're banging at all, and you're living in a world that has 12 people in it, I mean, I don't know. Like,
yeah,
there's some cousin fucking going on. Not trying to tisk it too much because that's Greek gods. Yeah, they love to get into incest. Like they're basically horrible perverts. They fuck animals all the time.
Yeah, and they fuck as animals. They fuck as animals.
They fuck animals. Like they're nasty. Like they're really nasty. That ties into this dating sim element we keep mentioning that we're not going to talk about as much as some people probably want us to, even though I did read about it. Is through this resource, Nectar and Ambrosia. So these are these little wine bottles. You can gift them to every character. The first time you do it, you get a mechanical reward. You get a keepsake. You get to take one of these on your run, and these are really powerful. They're leveled up by using them. They're really cool.
Yeah.
However, you're expected to continually dump these potions into people to get more of their story and to build up the little heart meters that you need for the true ending of this. There are something like 12. I don't know if it's actually 12. There are a lot of people you can build their heart meters with. Something around that, 10 to 12. These in a run, I would come back with 2 or 3 of them. Each of them needs 8 or so. And if I was lucky, I would come back with that many. There's just a lot of them you have to spend, is my point.
Yeah, just if I was going after it, and understand when you're picking your chambers and stuff like that, you're not really incidentally running into a lot of these. Sometimes you can buy them from shops, but like you're picking a door that says, hey, a nectar is your reward, right? You're giving up something else to get this. Do
you want to read one more paragraph of Achilles' story, or do you want to improve one of your abilities so you can possibly win the run?
I would like to win the run, please.
It's a pretty shitty choice. Like it's not an interesting choice. We talked about earlier those choices where like both sides seem for us. Yeah. Like they're not equally weighted choice. You want hard choices. You want choices where the answer is not obvious. Not the case for me. And it kind of feels like a lot of this game is built on the assumption that you are just going to be compulsively playing it hundreds of times.
Yes.
And if that's true, you're going to end up swimming in nectar and you'll get all this stuff.
Yeah. I don't like that assumption about any game, even like, I don't know, games I love, like Monster Train. It's just like, no, you have to understand, like, I'm going to spend 15 hours with you and it's going to be great.
I don't like that assumption about, and that has nothing, I anticipate people saying that has to do with the job. Like, we don't want that because we're on a deadline. I don't like that even if I'm not on a deadline.
Yeah.
I do not like the assumption that to see all of this, you will just literally wring every last drop.
Yeah.
Of this stuff. Like that to me is frustrating. And it's frustrating because it's tying those story elements. So like compare to something like The Binding of Isaac again, one of my favorite games of all time that I have played a lot of. I haven't unlocked everything in that game because they keep adding stuff to it. Those are like mechanical rewards, like a chance at getting an item.
Yeah.
An unlock in Isaac is you might get this trinket on a run. It's not, here's the story of Isaac's father. Like you get that stuff through the endings, but once you get them once, you get them.
Yeah.
You know, it's really weird to me to tie the story into that kind of mechanical completionism.
To steelman the position of somebody who says, no, this actually is an interesting choice. I can imagine it being, hey, I want to get to know these characters so much. I am so invested in the story that I will forego the mechanical benefit in order to be able to turn that page. They're just motivated by something different. And for me, like, I don't know. I like that stuff when I see it, not after I like dig super far for it, I guess.
And even then, I think you could still make the argument it requires too much.
Yeah.
Of it. Like even if you are making that choice and getting these like this drip feed of narrative between runs, which it's going to do anyway. That's part of the dating sim kind of elements is, you know, between each run, you talk to people and you see what they're up to. You're going to get that drip feed regardless.
Yeah.
Just wanting one additional drip ends up feeling insubstantial to me.
Yeah. Although, I mean, so we're just going to have to get in here. If you had to get serious with any of these characters, which one? People are going to want to know.
Oh boy. I don't know. Maybe, what is her name? Artemis?
She's fuck cool. Yeah. Artemis. Yeah. That's my answer. You can't take my answer.
Yeah. I did. I said it first. Artemis seems cool.
Yeah.
Sure.
Very self-possessed. Cool. You know.
Yeah. Confident. Doesn't dress like a, like she's trying to yank my crank. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's speaking of yanking cranks, let's get into aesthetics.
Let's do. This is a pretty game. This is like, I tweeted about this, but like I recently got a Switch OLED just because the battery on my OG Switch is, taking a dump. Boy, does this look super nice and crispy on that. Like it is the best looking game I have played on that system.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a really good looking game and runs really well on the Switch. The animations are really good. The character models. So again, paraphrasing that, like, is Wario a libertarian? Tweet thread closed after the continuing story that keeps coming up in this, whether these characters are horny or not. That's worth talking about.
Okay.
Okay. It's a really interesting thing. It reminds me of the dress, like the gold and blue dress kind of thing that people see as green, because anecdotally on the Slack, which I know that sounds like inside baseball, this will go out to some people who are not on the Slack, quite a few people, but also the Slack is a focus group of like 800 people who have talked about this. So it's useful data. Half the people are like, yeah, it's horny as shit. These are super horny character models. And then half the people are like, I don't see it at all. There's absolutely nothing horny about this. And I think what it is the style of these character models look to me like Tumblr D&D commissioned OCs.
Okay.
To me, like some of them are very explicitly horny. The ones that are not explicitly horny are drawn in an art style that is almost always horny online.
Okay, so you're pulling in an outside association, like this kind of like this level of detail and like just the way the poses and expressions is normally used in art that you have seen that is horny generally,
and then a good third of them are just horny. But I think that, and I'm not just saying just me. I think that's part of why there's that disparity.
Yeah,
because if you look at them all together, like somebody on the Slack, I think it was Tara. On the Slack, did a little like chart, a little 2-axis chart as to horny and cool.
Okay,
the designs, and it's like a fourth of them that actually fit into the horny quadrant. Deep Space Nine, the horny quadrant. Deep Space 69, the horny quadrant. But actually fit into that horny quadrant. The rest of them, a lot of them, they're just like Artemis, not super horny. There, but the art style is something I associate so much with, like a Tumblr OC that is drawn to yank my crank, particularly me.
you're not going to win in this conversation, because there's some people who are defensive saying, no, it's not just horny. Like, don't say they're horny because that's reductive. And then there are people say, oh, like, no, I like these because I think that these are horny.
Yeah, because they're hot. I'm not trying to win. It's just it's a real psychographic. It's like a Rorschach test.
Yeah, and also I wonder if the people who are saying, "Oh, this ain't horny," have also maybe been exposed to hornier stuff.
I've seen such sights. Yeah. Like there's Sam Neill at the end of In the Mouth of Madness, like at the movie theater.
Just Roy Batty, rain coming down on him, titties the size of Orion.
Like tears and cum. So I'm not trying to win or anything. It's just kind of like figuring it out. To me, it obviously seemed like they were really designing to be sexy.
That's also something that they've said is just like, okay, just in the culture, they are written to be libertines. Like, there is a kind of majestic nudity in Greek art, just different mores and things like that. And the gods, just everybody knows this from fucking middle school, but like the gods are meant to be these, paragons of physical perfection, to the point where like the one outcast that they have, Hephaestus, who like makes all their shit and does everything for them, is just like, we don't talk to him because he's kind of ugly.
Yeah. Because they're awful people.
Right. Yeah, but like,
and I'm not saying that the game isn't, playing with that.
Yeah. And it's playing with it like in a cool and interesting way. But like, it's in the subject matter. They have talked about like, how do we tastefully do this? And everybody looks cool and self-possessed, right? And they've all got, kind of a vibe. I would say like, if you find horny reductive, attractive, confident, and sexy, I think you're going to find in various points through all this, like even down to like, the mortal characters that you find, like there's a certain daddy appeal to Sisyphus, right?
There is. It reminds me a little bit of Paradise Killer.
Yes.
When those characters were not explicitly horny, they were like hornesque.
Yes.
It's just an art style thing. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's not an art style that super appeals to me. Like, I tend to like things to be a little less attractive, and have a little bit more personality and kind of grunge to it, a little bit more realism as opposed to an idealized form. Like, but it is appropriate for the subject matter.
Yeah.
It's appropriate for Greek gods and Greek people, I guess.
It's very well executed, I would say. Like, these are all, like they convey in their postures and their poses and in their, like facial expressions, exactly what they're intended to convey. Yes. I don't think that is arguable.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They're well composed drawings.
Yes.
But it is going to be a thing where either you look at these characters and you see nothing, you look at these characters and you think, man, this is trying kind of hard, or you look at these characters and you're like, I want to draw fan art of this character. This is so fucking cool. And I just don't have that gene for anybody. There are no characters who I think that about. It's not my generation. I'm glad you have this as a note. There is an issue with visual noise in the fights.
Yes.
Of this. We're living in the particle effect age, where like a projectile that is contained, that doesn't have lighting effects trailing off of it, is never to be seen.
Yep.
The days of the Mega Man bullet with a clearly defined hurt box are gone. Now the hurt box of things is unclear. On just a game wide level, a medium wide level, we've given up that fight.
Yep.
And depending on what kind of things are happening, and I found this happens really specifically around Elysium. Elysium, I don't like that realm either, and it's kind of damning that I fully don't like half the realms in this, and there's only 4. But Elysium, I really have a hard time picking out what's happening a lot of the time.
Yes.
You get those fucking butterflies. I'm just like, man, fuck this. I can't see what's happening. It is too much.
Stacking particle effects and, attractive, well-designed enemies that are present in numbers and mix-ups that are like right next to each other. This has actually been a thing in Supergiant's games for me. Like, I remember this being an issue in Bastion as well.
Yeah.
Not so much in Transistor, just because of the turn-based, the grid kind of thing. And a little bit in Empire higher. And I think it's just their house style that ends up making some of this a little bit hard to read. Learning to read it as a skill, that's part of getting acclimated to the game. I think that's, just a matter of how much time you spend with it. I found myself taking damage from stuff that just like did not look like anything to me.
Yeah. Or just you didn't know it was there.
Yeah.
Especially those butterflies.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. And it's not an omnipresent problem. It doesn't happen throughout the entire game. And again, in these weird little pairs, it's also a problem in parts of Luca.
Yeah.
The voice acting in this is good. Charismatically presented. The characters are all presented as likable. I'd rather die than actually listen to all the lines of this. I just click through. But it doesn't like do any weird vampire style sins where it clicks through the end of a paragraph.
Right.
You can read these at the speed you read. You don't have to listen to the whole performance.
Mm-hmm. You get the you get the sense for these different guys. Like I really like Poseidon being the uncle.
Rowdy uncle.
Yeah,
the
characterization comes through, and your main characters, Darren Korb, I believe, is the voice actor for Zagreus, does a very good job. And then Hades voice actor, like the main people who are going to be hearing a lot, do fantastically.
Yeah. There's more writing here than most roguelikes get. The closest comparison to stuff we've done on the show is probably Children of Morta.
Yeah.
Both in terms of having a meta progression story and being about a family and having all of this writing. The really interesting part about Hades is the proportions.
Mm-hmm.
You are going through an entire run that's 45 minutes to an hour, picking up an ambrosia to get a paragraph that you get to hear afterwards. This is giving us detail about the relationship of these gods, these characters, and ultimately the main story. Which is why Zagreus is trying to escape and this relationship with his parentage.
Yes. Yeah. They had to account for so many different conditions on this. Just, okay, what weapon are you carrying when you meet this god? Do you have boons from different gods? I can't imagine it, just the Matrix, even just the management of all of that information, let alone voice acting, all of it, and making sure it got implemented. Huge amount of respect for the challenge, the degree of difficulty on that.
It's really interesting too. Like the challenge and that degree of difficulty and complexity is something I admire. There is an element where it doesn't add up to, like, I have to think if it was worth the squeeze. Like if that juice was worth a squeeze. Like I think about this incredibly complicated situation where when I run into Dionysus, he's gonna be like, "See, you've been partying with Poseidon, man," and I'm like, "Oh, Dionysus just saying Dionysus bullshit." Like it's kind of cool that he recognized it.
Yeah,
but it's not Psychomantis. Like it happens so often, and it's just a little line, and I know that Dionysus is going to give me some ring-a-ding-ding party, Sammy Paradise shit for a paragraph that roughly doesn't tell me anything.
Yeah,
like it just kind of like there's a weird vapidness to a lot of the dialogue in this, where it may as well just be like Dionysus noises. or Ares noises.
Yeah.
So they're very complicated. Like, oh, Ares is interested because I have progressed the main quest enough to be a little bit mad at Zeus. So he's going to bring that up. And I've learned a little bit about what my goddom could be. So he's going to make a guess about that.
Yes.
But really he's just like, yes, a fine weapon, nephew. Well done. Like it's always going to be the same shit.
It's kind of its own slot machine. To a degree, presented, and like we say, it's a lot of text. It is not like they are sitting you down. Very rarely do you get conversations that last more than, let's say, 2 volleys.
Yes.
Like it's pretty good at letting you get back to the action, especially when you are within a run, and even when you're in the house, it's presenting it to you. Probably 4 sentences at a time. Right, which is nice. That is a good dose in and of itself. But for the ratio of like, let us say actionable information to not, I think that you need to be a little bit more invested in these characters and their relationships than I was. I kind of felt like, oh, I appreciate this characterization, and I like the moments where they snipe at each other. I like it when they're messy bees who live for drama. Like those are cool moments, and that's cool. That's what I'm here for. Yeah,
like a really very old Gary watch over fireball metaphor. It's Russian roulette with a Gatling gun. Yeah. You're spinning a huge chamber on the chance of getting that payday. You know, that payday you get from winning Russian roulette.
Yeah, another chance to roll them bones, baby.
But it ring-a-ding dong, lady luck. It reminded me a lot. It's just such a weird thing where the first time when I saw Dionysus, I was like, this is cool. Mm-hmm. That's a fun characterization for this character. And then I would seek those boons because I like them. And eventually I just like, fuck, man, party noises. Like there's no content to this. And it's not a complaint I've heard a lot about this. So I feel like that's probably a highly subjective thing. Like most people were just happy to hear more Dionysus noises and just hang out with them because they're charismatic. It wasn't about the content. It was just kind of a likable delivery.
Yeah.
You know, charismatic is the word that I think is most operative.
Yes.
For these characters and the kind of the way the dialogue works.
Which has value, but that can tail off, right?
Yeah. And it's also a porque no los dos.
Yes.
You know, I want charisma and content, you know, and music's great.
Yep.
In this, Darren Korb, the voice actor, did the music as well.
Mm-hmm. Really hard to fuck with Supergiant soundtracks. They have hit it out of the park every time.
They always have one prestige song with vocals that I don't actually want to listen to, but I think that they want me to be bowled over by. This has that as well.
I think they did it once really well with Build That Wall.
Yeah.
Or dig the hole, build the wall, or whatever it was. And then they've been chasing that high ever since.
Yeah. This one has multiple ones. Eventually you get Orpheus, who for some reason is Robert Smith. And the falsetto Robert Smith doing those songs, and I do not care for it.
Yeah.
But the actual instrumental tracks are great.
Yeah. Let's talk about development. They began after they shipped Pyre. You know, it's a small studio. I think at the time they began development on this, it was still 20 people, you know? Mm-hmm. And they had actually considered making a follow-up to one of their previous games, thinking, okay, you know, do we want to revisit any of these worlds before ultimately deciding on Greek mythology? Primarily because their lead developer, Greg Kasavin, had a fascination with Greek mythology as a kid. I think that might be, you never want to say anything's universal, but like, I don't know if you would meet like a real dork as an adult who was not at least somewhat fascinated with the stuff as a kid. You know?
It was great. I mean, it was, to me, it reminded me of my like fascination with Robin Hood. Yeah. There were swords and magic powers and shit in it. Like it was cool. Mm-hmm. And it still remains cool. Like Greek mythology is cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool basis for shit.
I remember like, you know, coming home in middle school, we had the paperback Bullfinch's compendium of Greek mythology, the classic one, right? And I was like, oh, we're starting Greek mythology. And my mom was like, oh, I hate that. And I was like, I have never felt more alienated from you.
How? What would you prefer? Like, I have to be in school. Why wouldn't I learn this?
Yeah. It's like all the best parts of Christianity, the smiting, but all the time.
Just horsemen. Oops, all horsemen. Like, the original title was Minos, and you played as Theseus, venturing into the labyrinth of Crete to defeat the Minotaur. Yeah. This made sense, you know, for a roguelike structure that they want to do, like the maze was always shifting, etc. But they couldn't find a narrative focus for this.
Yeah, I am really happy that somebody else noticed that Theseus is just the fucking pits.
Yeah, absolute fuckboy. That's one of the few like explicitly humorous parts of this game that really worked for me.
Yep.
Like that continuing a relationship. Oh, even though it ends up being like 2 lines for every 45 minutes of like getting to that boss fight that you're going to do 1,000 times. The development is funny.
Yeah. But they said, you're in a labyrinth. Like, who are you going to meet there? Our games have focused on story, you know, for a while. So we need to strike this balance. And then ultimately they decided on, Hades and the underworld, figuring it was this fertile ground. Not a lot is actually said in the myths about the underworld. So it is this kind of big, imaginative space that they could fill in. And then with Greek mythology, you can work in all these gods, the Olympian and chthonic gods worked into here. So you get that family drama.
Well, especially Zagreus, who is a real figure from Greek myth, but is barely a figure.
Right.
He's a footnote.
Yeah.
It's not even established what he is the god of in the real Greek myth.
No,
the game hints at it. but it's or it explicitly does it. If you go through enough, if you ply enough people with enough booze, you get the one word answer that he is the god of.
He's the god of determination. What is it?
Yeah, it's blood.
Okay, cool.
It's blood. If you want to put the 30 hours of getting enough booze for people to hear that word, here I saved you 30 hours, blood. Yeah. And they wanted to fix a problem that they had in Pyre because they made this huge story-rich world with all these branching paths, but people only played it once. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's a feature, not a bug. Mm-hmm. We're going to cover Citizen Sleeper here in a couple episodes. Not being able to see the entire story, absolute feature. Yep. You should have a beautiful ephemeral and a unique experience with a video game where you do not see everything, and your experience should be different from someone else's.
Yes.
The idea of feeling like, I understand as a creative person, like, oh, it's upsetting that not everyone is getting all of this stuff. I think they overcorrected like hell. Yeah. In this by making you play it so many times to get everything.
Yes. Yeah. They also wanted to try a more open development kind of thing. And like roguelikes work with that. It's repetitive. You play it a lot. It can kind of exist in the open, and people are not going to see everything. It's not like criticizing a book from front page to back page as it is being written. Yes. So they wanted this open development process, and they partnered with the Epic Game Store. I believe it was like the first like big Epic exclusive that was put on there when that store launched, and I remember that causing some bitterness.
Yeah, because people got mad about such. Yeah. But they made changes with community feedback. A lot of the things that we're playing in the final game were changed. Yeah. Quite a bit there. It was eventually fully released alongside with the Switch version, December 2020. Huge sales, huge critical accolades, won tons of Game of the Year awards, which is part of why I think 2020 is kind of a weak year for games. And I also think all those people slept on Monster Train.
Shame on them.
Shame on them. The superior roguelike of that year. And again, I like this game. I really think there was something in the water, and this introduced a lot of people to the format. It had the charisma and kind of presentation to get people into this subgenre.
Agreed. Yeah. It is always funny how this kind of stuff lines up, where you have an episode planned, or we have just recently done an episode and then there's an announcement. But in December of 2022 at the Game Awards, Hades 2 was announced. It was pretty clear that this is what they were going to do, based on just how, earth-shattering Hades 1 was. You were playing as Zagreus' sister, Melinoe. As she tries to defeat Cronus, who has been set loose from his. Wait, BRB, time god. Wait a minute, what? Time god.
Time's haunted. He's been set loose. It looks good. It remains to be seen what they'll do with it. I am disappointed that they're going back to a well.
Yeah.
Like that. Like Supergiant's a really interesting developer where I've liked all of their games. And I would say I loved Bastion for the time and still really love Transistor.
Yep.
But it's not like something I want to see them just iterate. Like part of the appeal for me was that they were always doing these new things, even when they didn't work. Like I don't like Pyre very much as a game. I'm still glad it came out and that they made it. I think that's cool.
Yes.
Them doing a sequel, it makes a lot of sense. This was their most successful game. It will print money. Yes. It'll free them up to do a lot of things. But it also feels a little bit like going through the Greek mythology and being like, who have we not used? What have we not used? Like looking on the wiki and seeing what characters they've announced for it and everything. It is really just like the remainders.
Apollo. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's some Greek stuff.
Yeah.
That we didn't talk about before. And it's a little disappointing for a studio I associate with Boulder Leaps.
It's kind of what God of War went through a little bit.
Yeah. Very similar.
Yeah.
That's going to be it for the main part of this episode. We're going to go through all of the weapon unlocks and the different realms, some of the story stuff in the for patrons.
Yeah. So go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv and back at $5 per month if you want to get that. You're also going to get every premium episode we've done. which is a lot of them by this point. In addition to, Bonfire Side Chat, Unfilmable, Exquisite Suffering, there's a whole lot there.
Yeah. Do it. We'd really appreciate it. We made some changes recently to the Patreon. So if you go to that $10 level, you're getting a new show. And I'd like to officially welcome on board Gwen, our new producer.
Yeah. This is a big step, and we are really happy to have Gwen on board as the person taking that step with us. You know?
Absolutely. So we've hired somebody. Duckfeed has been growing. It's a cool thing. It's a huge blessing where it's a good problem to have. We have talked about this for a long time, and really, really happy with choosing Gwen. Somebody who is a friend. You will recognize Gwen. She's been around in the community, active for a long time, did the theme music for Orb and for Best Quality Vacuum.
Yep. Guested on Orb several times. Yeah.
Yep. And she's great. So really excited about that.
So extend her a welcome and congratulations next time you interact with her, which will probably be, if you're in the community, you'll see her.
Yeah. If you want to hear also what that premium, if you're not on the Patreon, we released another welcome pack. Or a welcome pack, and then we also released a bonus kind of thing. If you join us, or even if you don't join us, you're going to get a bunch of episodes. See what you're missing. That's what I mean to say. We put out some of that stuff that we've been hiding behind the paywall.
Yeah.
So you can check it out.
Yeah. So for Bonfire Side Chat, we have made the Stormvale episodes, Stormvale Castle episodes public for everybody. And then we added 2022 episodes to our $3 welcome pack on Patreon.
Yes. Yeah. So if you join us, even just at $3, you can see what you get at higher amounts.
Yeah.
And that includes the Death Loop. Speaking of a game that came up this episode.
Yeah. Additionally, if you have liked the Watch Out for Fireballs Facebook page, in the past, we were never very good about keeping that up. We made too many pages for individual shows. There's now just a group for Duckfeed now, where stuff is going to be promoted and for people to discuss things. Pages are a nightmare. Groups are better. Just do a search for Duckfeed community and you'll find it.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be easier for us to keep up with.
Yeah.
If you are a non-straight, non-white, non-male creator and you'd like us to highlight your project, send me an email at gary@duckfeed.tv. This episode, I want to send some attention to Nina Dunnick. She is an author who has written several short stories. You can find her work at ninadunnick.com. She has a novel coming out this year called The Clarion that you should check out. It is literary fiction, so it's not our dark bullshit. Like it's not like, oh, what if a cryptid was actually, blah blah bloop, an arcade game. Like it's not our nonsense. It's the nonsense that we also contain, because we contain multitudes. We like literary fiction. She's a literary fiction author, and you should check out her stuff at ninadunnick.com.
Can you spell that last name?
Yes. The whole website is ninadunnic.com.
ninadunnick.com.
Yep. And that novel is The Clarion, coming this year.
Nice. Thank you very much. Check out Nina. If you have thoughts about this month's games, it is too late. Sorry. If you have thoughts about next month's games, which are Luca, Born of a Dream, Citizen Sleeper, or Subnautica, the premium episode, then write in at duckfeed.tv/contact by the 15th. Next episode, we're going to announce what we're going to be playing in March.
Yeah. Look forward to that. And until next time, take care.
Take care.